We were talking a bit about non-traditional career paths with a law degree. And I see so many folks out there in the world who went to law school, but they're doing completely different things. And so I'm wondering if you could speak a bit about the idea of going to law school and then maybe deciding to take a different path, but still have law school be worth it in some way, still benefit from the JD.
Totally. In fact, that is my journey, Steve. So here's what happened. After I went to Case Western Reserve Law School and I really focused on healthcare law, I was the managing editor of the Health Law Journal. I had an internship in Washington, D.C. when I was in law school, working on Capitol Hill and working with healthcare legislation. And once I got out, I did get a job in the top health law firm in the state of Ohio. And I was very honored. It was a big firm with mahogany walls and a cushy paycheck. And it was exactly what I had wanted. And I worked there for several years and got great training. And there came a point where I realized that the big firm life and lifestyle was not the best suited for me. And I'm sure they felt the same way. It wasn't a match. And so I actually left. I left the firm and I didn't quite know what I wanted to do next. I was in my early 30s. I knew that I had valued my legal education and I valued my law firm experience. So what I did was something entirely different. I went to work in nonprofit. And a lot of people were surprised to hear that, right? But I worked in major gifts and planned giving of a large nonprofit where I helped people basically make charitable gifts through their wills or their trusts, and worked with the endowment and helped raise money for charity, which felt really good to me. It was helpful that I was a lawyer. It was helpful that I had those credentials as a lawyer, but I didn't have to be a lawyer in that job. And I worked in nonprofit for over a decade, and it served me really well. I traveled around the city and then I traveled around the country and raised money. And, over the course of my nonprofit work, I raised over $32 million for charity. So even though I am a lawyer and was a lawyer at the time, I still felt like I was helping the world in a significant way without practicing law. And then a funny thing happened. I actually had always had this interest in health and wellness, which is part of the reason why I wanted to be a healthcare lawyer. So I became a health coach through a school called the Institute of Integrative Nutrition. And I also became a life coach through Coach U. And I actually hung out my shingle for a while as a health and life coach. And what was so strange is that my health and life coaching clients would say to me, and my peers would say, but Lisa, you're a lawyer. Wait a minute. This is great that you're a coach and you're helping people how to, drink green smoothies and live a healthy lifestyle. But wait a minute, you're a lawyer. So in working with my own coach, I discovered that I actually wanted to practice law again. So I reinstated my license after years of not having an active license. And I decided I wanted to approach law with a slightly different style, and that I wanted to actually bring more love into the law, which is not something that you hear of often. And I also align legal steps with the chakras because I wanted to bring some spirituality into the law. So this is a totally unique and different way to practice law that I actually wondered if lawyers would think I was crazy to do it this way. But what I have found is that there's so many small business owners who are afraid of law and lawyers, and it's overwhelming and confusing. And so the fact that I happen to be a female lawyer who was taking sort of a softer approach to the law in my own way was very appealing to them. And I now work with hundreds of entrepreneurs and coaches and female entrepreneurs, some men too, of course, but people who want a gentler approach to the law. But I will say to you this, Steve, that even though my law career has had such a circuitous route, I never in a million years thought I would come back to practicing law in an active way. And it's because I had such solid training in a traditional law firm in a traditional setting that I was able to come back around and draw on that training and then sort of add my own unique spin to the practice. I never would have been able to do this had I not gone from the traditional law firm, stepped away for a bit, and then be able to come back to it in such a holistic way.
Thanks for tuning into the show. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already to be notified of new episodes as I release them. And feel free to reach out if you need anything at all as you move forward with your prep. I'm happy to help however I can. In the meantime, I wish you all the best and take care.